What is going on out there, peeps? All right. Somebody sent me this video and said, Pimpy, is this right? Didn't you say physical and not paper silver is the right direction to go in? I said, what do you mean? Let me see. Send me the video. So I started to watch this video. I watched it. I said, okay. My first response is like, what the But then I realized this is why it's important for people to do their own research. Now, there's people out there on YouTube talk about different subjects. You're going to get people who say something that's polar opposites. Sometimes they agree, sometimes they disagree, whatever. But it's okay to hear what people have to say, but it's also more important, especially when you're talking about dealing with your money. You know what I mean? We're talking about your money being invested in this stuff. So you want to take that a little bit more serious. You want to do your own research and then figure out what it is you're supposed to do. Now, there's nothing, like I said, there's nothing wrong with listening to people. Let them point you in the right direction so you can get an idea of what you should be researching for. You know what I mean? And then do your research. Because when I heard this video, I was like, what the hell is going on? Okay, so I'm going to run it past you here and explain to you in just a second. If you guys are thinking about getting into real money, like gold and silver, go over to our friends over at Money Metals Exchange. The link is down below in the description. If you're a first-time buyer and you spend more than $100, use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and get a free half ounce of silver. For those of you looking for my address, there it is. And you guys know I got the other website with a lot of great stuff that's been posted in there that there's no way in heck I can post here on YouTube. Don't forget to go over to Wall Street Silver on YouTube and Reddit and, send some love. These people have been really good about bringing a lot of awareness to the silver market and silver investment. So this is the video I'm talking about. It was sent to me. And I said, okay, and I want to listen to what he has to say. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play it and then listen to what he says, and then I'll have a comment as we go along.
Now we all have seen some channels that are, definitely pumping silver. You know what I mean? Nothing is.
Okay, first of all, those are the panda coins that come from China. As a collector, they're beautiful coins. They really are. But already the thing that's driving me insane is, as a collector, there's things I see all over this video that make me cringe. First of all, these whenever you get a new coin, put them in airtights. This is how you protect your coin. But it looks like already on the silver, he's already got his thumbprints, which is a no-no. You can't clean the coin either, because you do, it scratches up the surface. So the thumbprints, what happens is the oil gets on there, and you start to get toning. So take care of your coins better. Plus, he's tossing them on top of each other. So it's like, okay, maybe these are just junk silver for him. But it just, as I watch it, just makes me cringe. Sorry, I had to share that.
Ever bad for silver. If something happens there, it affects the spot price. You know what I mean? It's just, a temporary setback. It's still going to the moon. We've all heard these channels. And, there's also the reverse, where people are really, really into whatever it is, like crypto or something, and they don't see silver as valuable. They don't see it as that hedge against inflation, and they don't see it as, the preserving your wealth. They look at it as an asset that's not gaining them any money. Spot price could go up, but
Wait, he said cryptos? Oh, no, they don't look at silver as an asset that's making them any money. Well, precious metals, just so you guys know, precious metals is how you preserve your wealth. It's not meant to get rich. We just happen to be in a unique time in history where we are going to see a jump in silver prices. So there is an opportunity to get rich off of it, no doubt. But for the most part, you hold on to precious metals. It's how you preserve your wealth. It protects against inflation. It protects against crisis, against bail-ins. But for the most part, it's not to get rich off of, although you can. I mean, over just the last couple of years, we've seen, I remember when I was jumping in on silver's $11 an ounce. Now it's up to 40. So it can grow in value, obviously.
But with those premiums associated with the silver, they just see it as sitting potential profits. You know what I mean? They don't look at it as, a physical savings account. And that's perfectly fine for some people. They don't want to invest in the physical silver.
That's actually a good point. A lot of people that I spoke to, they're constantly asking me, when's this going to happen? When's this going to happen? And you can tell they're more focused on the get rich scheme. Get there quickly and then get out. Okay? So again, you say, well, just like any of the other investments that we're in, put them to the side, hang tight, wait for the big thing to happen. But yeah, I mean, mostly gold and silver is to protect you and add to your wealth is what it really is.
Might not have the room in their place. They might not like the returns that they're looking for. They want something else. And definitely silver's not that thing. If you're looking...
Yeah, again, I can't help it. I'm interrupted because gold and silver is not the thing that you hold on to get rich. What you do is you buy gold and silver, put it to the side. It protects you, is what it does. Now, I haven't said that again. We're in a unique time. In my opinion, and many others, we're on the doorstep of the largest transfer of wealth. I said transformation before. The largest transfer of wealth we've ever seen. So there is an opportunity, but having said that, people say, when it happens, how much of it you're going to sell? Well, I'm going to sell whatever I need to pay the rest of my bills off and sit on the rest. That's the whole purpose of it. Now, don't get me wrong. If you want to, sell a little bit more so you can go out on a trip or something, I get that.
Looking for quick profits or a quick turnaround, don't look to be getting into physical metals. This is a long-term game. But for me, I'm still in accumulation mode. So don't get me wrong, I would love to see silver go up to $100 an ounce. But I would love to see silver...
Okay, first of all, this is a Libertad. I love these coins. So, I think we're accumulation stage. Here's the thing. We're always in an accumulation stage, if you get my drift. So I don't know if that ever stops.
At $100 an ounce in 2031. You know what I mean? I wouldn't mind it in 10 years. Because if it were to jump up to $100 an ounce in, 2 months, I would have to completely change the way I stack. There's no way I'd be able to continue going on the way I'm stacking currently. My dollar cost average would just go through the roof because I don't have the amount that I'd like. I still want to buy, and so obviously if the price keeps going up, my average will keep going up. And
yeah, I think that's that weird predicament that we're in. You see, we bitch, we moan, we groan that we want the value of the precious metals to go up. And as soon as we get an idea, hey, there's actually a date to this, June 28th, then all of a sudden you don't feel like you have enough. And you're like, oh man, I hope they delay this till the beginning of next year or something. That's because you want to keep stacking while the values are really low. So I get that. You never feel like you have enough.
I can completely understand people that have been stacking for, decades wanting it to go up, because I've heard people talking about...
Shout out to my friend Numi. 3.5 tons of silver he owns. He's been stacking since the early 70s. And 365 pounds of gold. Yikes. He bought the bulk of his gold when gold was very, very cheap. When it was around $50 or so. Man. Ugh.
Oh, I used to get the Silver Eagles at, 13, including premiums and stuff like that. So if they were to sell it now, they've, kind of close to like doubling their money. So if you were to get an Eagle now and pay whatever the markups were, and then you were to sell it to a coin shop, you'd be getting less. You'd be obviously getting less than what you paid for it. But if you were to take that Eagle you bought back in the 90s or something like that, you might be getting more premium back than what you paid premium when you got it. You know what I mean?
Wait, what? What the hell are you talking about? You get more premium back than you paid for it? No.
Just because of where the premiums are now. So I can definitely see people with...
Don't look at things as premiums. Look at it as overall cost. So you're not trying to, divide up the principal from premiums. You know what I mean? Just say the overall cost of my coin was $11. It included premiums back in the day. Today, the overall cost, including premiums, is $40. It's that simple. Talking about how I got my premiums higher this time, lower next time, you're focused in the wrong area.
Stacks like that, wanting silver to keep going up into the moon just so they can get more return on their silver. You know, it's all gravy for them right now. I'm not in that boat. So for people that have been doing it for a while and are looking to get out, I can see why they're jumping on the bandwagon of let's see this thing go to the moon. And you know, I can't blame them. You know what I mean? If they just are continuing to make money, the more it goes up, then, you know, obviously I would like to see it go up. But for me, that spot price is affecting my purchasing. Obviously, it's affecting my stack in a good way. If it goes up, the value goes up. But I won't be able to continue putting silver in there at the clip that I usually do, or the rate that I usually do, because it's too high. So for me, yeah, you might call it selfish, but I don't want to see, you know...
It's not selfish. I've been collecting for years, and still I don't feel, and I got a lot, and I still feel like I want more.
$100 silver overnight. But I don't really know where silver is going to go, because I've seen things where people are saying this is
here we go, pay attention,
the reason why it's going to go up. Here's why, you know, silver's about to go to the moon, and it just doesn't seem to be happening. You know, obviously the silver squeeze guys tried to, you know, affect it a bit and tried to have it go up. But it moved slightly, you know what I mean? And then spot price just dipped back where it was. And mainly the premiums were affected by that. And spot price kind of just rebounded. But that's is not the best way to affect the spot price with the physical stuff. Like I said in the previous video, if you wanted any chance of like a percentage of affecting silver with the raids and the squeeze that they're going with, it would be on that paper side. Because the physical side of silver doesn't really affect spot price too much.
What? All right, so I'm going to chalk it up as maybe this guy's a newbie. He's not sure. All right? So, where to even begin? Those silver squeeze guys. So, obviously, he has no idea of what the silver squeeze was and the purpose. And although he thinks using paper to change the price of the spot price is what he's talking about. You're right. Paper changes the spot price. But keep in mind, it's the spot price is what they use to manipulate and hold down the value of the precious metals. I think where this guy might be getting some confusion here is there's a difference between the spot price, which is what we see on the market, versus the actual cost of the physical silver. So paper, silver, two different things. When we see the spot price, that is the value of paper silver, not the actual physical silver. Now, one way you can determine what is the actual value of physical silver, well, that's where the premiums come in. And you see where your retailers sell it for around, let's just say it's been at $40 for a little while, even though the spot price is at $26. That's a good indication that $40 is being supported, or the physical silver is being supported at the $40 level. So it's real easy to say that, hey, the value of the physical silver is $40 because people are willing to pay it. See the difference? So I think there's some confusion there. Paper can be used to manipulate the paper market or the spot price, but here's the thing. There's not enough of you out there to even do that. Well, I don't want to say that. That's not quite true. I mean, it would take a serious army. The silver squeeze guys, as he put it, the goal, as we know, was to squeeze silver and cause a reaction on the comics as well as the LBMA. And it works. It's still working. We're still removing more. And how does it work? Well, we know they've sold more contracts for silver than they actually have physical silver. In essence, what that does is if these people go to pull their contracts and they want this silver delivered. And if they don't have the silver, well, they have to get it from somewhere. So basically, they have to pay what the people want in order to get them to part with their silver. That's how you affect the overall rate, is to take the silver out of their inventory and continue to do it worldwide to where we have a shortage, which is exactly where we are. Now, if you're investing into paper silver, that's dangerous. We know this. A couple reasons why. Let's say you have an EFT, or you bought one of those shares that are in those silver pools or gold pools. In other words, for every share that you have, you get 1 ounce of silver, something along those lines. Well, what do we find out from John Adams from Australia? That they don't have the silver to cover all the paper that they sold. And what do? They change their perspectives to say if they don't have the silver, then they have the right to pay you in the fiat currency equivalent. Well, the whole purpose to be into precious metals is to stay away from the fiat currency. So why the hell would you want the money? You want the metal. That's the risk in having paper. If the market crashes, you're SOL. For those of you who are holding on to the physical metal itself, you're not affected. You benefit.
Much. You got to think of a lot of the transactions. You're talking to somebody on eBay, you meet up in a parking lot, you give him cash for the metals that he pulls out of his trunk, you go on your way. How is that going to affect spot price? No one knows that happened. No one knows.
This is his way of giving you an example why paper silver is better than physical. Did you hear this demonstration? Let me back it up just a little bit.
Price kind of just rebounded, but that's is not the best way to affect the spot price with the physical stuff. Like I said in the previous video, if you wanted any chance of like a percentage of affecting silver with the raids and the squeeze that they're going with, it would be on that paper side, because the physical side of silver doesn't really affect spot price too much. You got to think of a lot of the transactions. You're talking to somebody on eBay, you meet up in a parking lot, you give him cash for the metals that he pulls out of his trunk, you go on your way. How is that going to affect spot price? No one knows that happened. No one knows those metals changed hands.
What? Yeah. Okay, a couple things here. Hang on there, Sparky. This is how it works. The more physical silver we remove off the market, the harder it is for them to meet demands. If there is a silver shortage that we, those silver squeeze people created, then when they go to get the silver and it's not there, well, then you got to pay. Think supply and demand. If there's not enough supply to meet the demand, then you pay higher dollars. That does affect the spot price, by the way. But we're not trying to affect the spot price. We're wanting to see what they're willing to pay for the actual physical metal that we have. Now, don't get me wrong, they go kind of hand in hand, but because people use it as a gauge, but the spot price is not the actual value of silver. There's a worldwide shortage right now of silver. For the past few years, you need 1 billion ounces a year in order to meet the worldwide demand. We have not been able to meet that demand in, I think, 4 or 5 years. And for the first time, which is this year, the bullion side, the collector side, the stacking side has outpaced the industrial side. So if you take this in consideration, you say to yourself, well, if we go to this Green New Deal, what did they need silver for? No problem. Solar panels, your cell phones, your computers, those electric cars. You see where I'm going with this? But if there is not enough silver to meet the worldwide demand, how do you get the silver that you need? Well, you go from saying, well, how about I give you $20 an ounce? I don't think so. $30 an ounce. Yeah, not going to happen. 50. Go talk to somebody else. 100. 200. 500. 1,000. If nobody is selling, and they need the precious metals. They're going to have to pay the true value of silver. That's how those silver squeeze guys control the market, is by holding on to the silver that they need and driving up the value of the actual physical silver and not the spot market. Don't get me wrong, it will go up too, but not like the actual physical. That's two different things. For the record, when you buy precious metals, although I personally have bought them from people in the back of the car because I know them and I trust them, so I know they won't rip me off. But if you're a first-time buyer, don't go buying metals from somebody in the back of a car, not unless you know how to test for them to make sure that they're real. You buy them from a retailer like Money Metals. And yes, every time you buy from Money Metals and they have to replenish their inventory, it does affect the spot market.
No one knows those people even had metals. So how could that affect spot price? So the physical part of the silver, it might move a little bit just because of the supply and demand. And they say, there's the shortage everyone keeps talking about. That, has been affected by the silver buying. But you can see what the effect that it has on spot price. It really nothing. We all know.
Yeah, you can tell. See, this is a person that's a newbie. He doesn't quite get how it works. So that's okay. For those of you who are chiming in from this channel, it's simply this way. They're going to manipulate the value of gold and silver. It has been for 100 years. They use the paper that he's talking about, paper silver, to do this. Basel III is coming up. This is supposed to remove the mechanisms that they use in order to manipulate the values of gold and silver. People are getting the hell out of paper silver and getting into actual physical silver, especially after what we learned on, was it February the 3rd? They don't have enough silver to cover all the paper. So the best thing you can do now is trade in right now before it's too late. Trade in your paper and get the actual physical silver. If you're focused on the spot price, which we do follow, don't get me wrong, but it's just to give you a gauge. It's not the actual value of the physical silver. And the truth of the matter is, there's this saying that goes like this: something is only as valuable as somebody else is willing to pay for it. Does that make sense? So if we remove all the physical silver off the market, then those people out there that have the money to do so are going to pay whatever it takes to get it out of our hands. Get where I'm coming from?
And we've heard that it's been manipulated for years. It's not being manipulated on the physical side. The manipulation is happening on the paper side. It's been going on for years. It's going to be really hard to try and crack that, like you did with GameStop and all that things. It's a bit different with the silver. So what would...
Yeah, silver is a commodity, not a paper fiat currency. We're not talking about papers here. See, stocks are not the same as commodities. There's a slower response time. Sure, you can have a bunch of people running over to buy a stock that's on the market. It will affect the market. But we had a bunch of people running over and buying a silver, and we started to make a difference there, and then we didn't plan the first one out good enough. Half the people went to paper, the other half went to physical. What did we find out from the LBMA? That had there been 10 more days of the pressure of buying like we had, the market would have crashed. So had we coordinated the first squeeze and told everybody go to the physical, we would have nailed their asses. What would have happened? But they're not out of the woodworks yet. There still isn't enough physical silver for them to satisfy all their contracts. So no, don't be in paper. Don't be in paper at all. In fact, get the hell out of paper.
Would you like to see from silver? If you had three options, if you had the option of $50 silver overnight, the same amount of silver overnight, or $20 silver overnight, what would you go for? For me, same or 20 is on the table. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for those of us who are stackers, you know what I mean? We never feel like we have enough. Of course, we're going to say, wow, we want the price to go up, but I sure the hell would love it go down to have, or love to have it go down to 20 so I can get a few more ounces at a cheaper price. Then next thing you know, we're like the comics. We're trying to drive the price down so we can add to our inventory and then wait for it to go up. So you get to a point, and trust me, you never feel like you have enough. That's the fun of this. We know Basel 3 is on Monday. Nobody knows what to expect yet. There's a lot of speculation. There's a lot of excitement. I'm curious to see what happens. I don't think it's going to be happening like presto instantaneously. I think it's going to take about a 1 to 2 week period to start seeing it really move as we figure out what the hell it is they are going to do. We'll know from there. Anyways, I'm listening to this gentleman. Very interesting. His perspective on, physical doing nothing to the market and that you're going to buy it from some dude in the trunk. And therefore, it has no effect on the market. Anytime you remove physical metal off the market, it affects the market, whether it's a tiny bit or a whole bunch. Passing around paper silver does nothing. Nothing at all. Because it has no value. It has as much value as your paper currency. It just doesn't have it. You get what I'm talking about as far as true value. And when people go, no, Pimpy, you're wrong, man. If I bought some stock and it went up and I sold it, I can make some money. You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about long-term real value. Anyways, this gentleman, yeah, I get where he's coming from. He's trying to just reach out to people. He's sharing his opinion. Some of the things I heard, I was like, what the hell? So maybe he's a newbie. But again, as a coin collector, this drives me crazy, man. He's got some nice Britannias down there, and he's tossing the coins on top of each other. Ugh. Anyways, just a quick shout out to Gloria, for bringing this to my attention. Yeah, I get where the confusion is. This gentleman seems to be pointing people into paper silver. I understand. It's just my opinion, though, and I'll share it with you, that you should avoid paper silver. Because when the doo-doo hits the fan and you go to cash it in for physical silver, there is a very, 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 very good chance that they won't have the silver to give back to you, and they're going to try to give you that same crappy fiat dollar that you gave them right back to you, and it has no value. All right? Anyways, that's it. I didn't want to come on there and just get crazy and sound the guy, but I wanted you guys to hear that, look, there's people out there, they got difference of opinions. If you're a person who is stacking silver, all right, and you get out there and you hear this, it's important that you listen to a variety of people, digest what's being said, go out there and do your own research. Okay? We're talking about, for some of you, your savings. Some of you, it's your life savings. Some of you, it's your retirement. For some of you, you've never even had savings before. But there is something about holding that silver in your hand, isn't there? All right? Okay, so yeah, people have different opinions. I don't want to knock the guy. That's his opinion. But some of the things he's saying was just, no, you know what I mean. I don't know about meeting people in the trunk, and then I jokingly say that, but at the same time, I bought silver from people in the trunk. It does affect the market, all right? So, buy the physical. It affects it. The more you take off the market, think supply and demand, the less they have, the better we are. And when the time comes, we hold the cards. Go to Money Metals and buy some. Not some dude's trunk, okay? Anyways, I just wanted to respond to this video real quick and let you guys know, look, there's difference of opinions out there. Just digest it all. But do your own research so you know what to do, okay? That's it. Hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, helps out the channel, and I surely appreciate it. I'll catch you later. I'm out.